Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This week's our theater pick, and we did the movie Star Trek Into Darkness. And we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens,
Hello.
And the Cadaver Whisperer in the lower left-hand corner is Ryan Preston. As we said in the opening, we're doing the new movie Star Trek Into Darkness. And do one of you guys have the description of this?
Yeah, I got it right here, actually. Star Trek Into Darkness, 2013. After the crew of the Enterprise finds an unstoppable force of terror from within their own organization, Captain Kirk leads a manhunt to a war-zone world to capture a one-man weapon of mass destruction. Is anybody else tired of the words weapon of mass destruction?
Well, at least they didn't put WMD.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's spelled out for once.
I feel like the last 15 years of my life is spent only hearing about WMDs and weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, I know. It's just really annoying. They didn't find weapons of mass destruction.
Everybody.
Anyway, so, you know, one of the things that I've come across that people saying about this movie, because I didn't actually watch this movie. I'm the odd man out, I guess.
Good job on that, by the way.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad to finally pull one of your cards.
It took me 2 weeks to watch it, so I can't hate.
You know, I've heard a lot of people complaining about the Spock character. Have you guys... I enjoyed him in the first one. I like the way that Zachary Quinto has done it. Whatever you want to say his last name is, jackass.
Whatever, Quinto.
Quintus.
Anyway, that works for me.
Yeah, Zachary Q.
He's related to Susie.
I like the way that he played Spock in the first one. A lot of people are complaining that it's not Leonard Nimoy's Spock.
I think that's
And, you know, they're trying to basically pass it off that, you know, he missed the Kolinar or whatever you want to pronounce that, where it's, you know, people out there who are Star Trek fans or don't know much about Vulcans, they have a ritual where they purge their emotions. This Spock missed it and went to the Academy instead, and they're saying that based off of that, this is a totally different timeline. Just shut up and enjoy this stinking movie.
Well, I think
right, and you know that's what I was gonna say, dude. I haven't had too much exposure to the original series. I've watched maybe 15 episodes of it. You know what I mean? Like sort of sporadically here and there. A little bit of a next gen fan, but other than that, I'm not completely immersed in the world of Star Trek. So seeing this, I don't have those little, you know, quibbles with the small things like that. I know of Spock, I know of Kirk, I know of Uhura, you know what I'm saying? I know of all of these characters, and I like the way that they've been played. I like the a little more human emotion through everything.
Yeah, I agree.
With Spock. I like him having that conflict, you know?
I think a lot of people have the issues with what James says, because this is a different canon. This is a different timeline. And if you notice, there are subtle differences between Kirk too, so it's a matter of realizing.
He speaks a lot better.
Yeah, well, it's a matter of realizing there's a different timeline, that they change, their personalities and characters change because events that happened in their past no longer happened.
Yeah, but I think the problem I'm having is that there's these fanboys out there that are big time Star Trek, the original series fans, and that's fine, that's cute and all. But you know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is a new generation of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have, you know, the original James T. Kirk guy being played here. This is something new, different, and just shut up and enjoy it. Stop trying to rip it apart, and then once you start to enjoy it, stop trying to find reasons to justify it by saying, "Oh, this is a totally different timeline. I can enjoy this now."
That's the thing is, I thought J.J. Abrams did a fine job of explaining why everything's different. You know what I mean? He put it into the canon. He made it to where you're like, oh, that's why things are different. You know, it gave you that sense of, you know, like.
I think he just covered his basics with the
covered his
fanboys.
bases. That's what I was going for. But
I think by doing what he did, it allows him to play with the universe without actually using the set canon, without destroying what's already been made.
Okay.
Right, exactly, and it's not revisionist history. It's sort of just like alternate universe type of history, but not even that much. It didn't deviate that much. But
apparently
my point that I was going to make earlier was the original Wrath of Khan still exists.
Yeah.
So all you assholes who want to just start talking shit for no reason about this, go watch that one.
Okay, now I do have a question since they're bringing in Khan here. Now, I still am excited to see this movie when I get a chance to. But my big question here is this early or kind of pre-eugenics war? What's going on here? That's what I'm curious about.
I think it was after, I'm assuming.
So this is after the eugenics war, and this is kind of the aftermath cleanup stuff?
Well, I'm assuming that he was a perfected.
Perfected human?
Yeah, he's been engineered.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's after the fact.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ryan?
I have zero idea.
Okay. The Star Trek, when they're out in the space, they come across that there's genetically altered and enhanced humans out there, and they try to say that they're the next step in human evolution.
Right, and then they want to kill everybody
but it started as a war, and it's known in the Star Trek history or canon as the eugenics war. And they always hint about it and talk about it in all the TV series, but they never have done an actual battle of it. Yeah, they've never done something where it's actually going through the eugenics war. And I was always curious about what,
I always assumed that Khan was involved in all that, but just wasn't,
Yeah, I always thought he was a general or something that had to do with it, and that's why I was curious if they were going into more of the background of the eugenics war.
I don't remember that. I don't remember them talking about that. I don't even remember them giving a whole lot of backstory for him, besides the fact he's 300 and something years old because of being frozen.
Right.
I like this movie, but I do think it happens to suffer from sequel syndrome.
Oh.
Personally.
You know what? I didn't actually get that sense. I was kind of wondering if it was going that direction until the whole Khan thing started to emerge. And then I was like, oh, I'm kind of in, because it seems like they're redoing the Wrath of Khan kind of stuff. Right. That's what sold me on the entire movie.
I think the benefit of this one, though, is if you've watched any of the Star Treks, especially Wrath of Khan, dear God, is there a lot of references to that movie?
Oh, man. It's been probably 10, 15 years since I've seen it.
It's almost been beaten to death, because it literally is the Wrath of Khan kind of spun around and redone.
Okay.
There are parts that I just thought were like, okay, this is a sequel. And there's other parts like, okay, this is really good.
I had a little bit of issues. I liked how big it got. For one, so I didn't necessarily get the sequel blues from that kind of stuff. I liked the him upping the ante in the way that he did. Most people, they'll jump the shark at this point, and like you said, you get this sequel syndrome. But this one seemed to do it in a good enough way to where you almost forgot, and you just kind of started paying attention to how epic everything got.
Okay. No, I agree. It didn't have the problem with getting smaller. It actually expanded the universe. It feels bigger than the original. I think that's the one thing that he did right, instead of being a very myopic universe that sequels have a tendency to be.
So
I thought the only thing that I thought was that Benedict Cumberbatch might have overdone Khan just a little bit. It seemed to be a little bit overacted. Well, but I don't know. Maybe that's what he wanted to do.
Well, I only thought that a little bit overacted comparing to all the other characters. He was the strongest character in the entire movie, just the way it was played. He had the I'm Khan, I'm this, I'm that, and you got kind of these characters that were kind of, I'm not sure if I should do this. I'll do this because this is this. That's kind of my thing.
That Zachary Quinto, Spock, was the strongest character in the movie.
I have actually really liked how this guy has played Spock so far. I mean, I think him coming from being on Heroes as Skylar into going into Spock was really great for his career, and I thought he did a fantastic job based off the first one, I thought. So I would expect a strong performance of him as Spock in this one.
I really like his Spock.
Great. It was really great. He really does, you can see him in his head walking that line of Vulcan and human. And there's a lot of references to like how he does that and the Vulcan style. Anyway.
I do think the one thing that we talked about earlier is it's going to bug people because it's not, the original Spock. I think that's the only thing that's going to bug people. Like character-wise, if you did like a side-by-side analysis, they're not the same character.
Well, do you remember?
But that's the only fine with me, because this is my Spock now.
I agree.
Well, this movie just being out for a week now, I'm more curious of how people, as Ryan was saying, that the con seemed to be overacted. I want to know what people are going to be saying about
Benedict Cumberbatch. And I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I think, James, you also watched the Sherlock BBC show, right?
Yeah, and I like it. I like his role in that too.
Amazing in that. So I know he can do awesome things.
And he definitely does well as a sociopath.
But I'm wondering how people are going to compare him. I think there was just
one particular monologue that he had that just seemed to be, and I think that might have been more of a directing choice because he really played it like it was that. Stare just off to the left of the camera, away from everybody else, and that single tear comes down the eye.
He did kind of the Kurt Russell soldier moment when he's like,
it was a little cheesy.
Yeah, it was kind of.
I hate those.
He kind of did. I'm an engineered superhuman. I'm blah 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 blah. It has had that moment of being, wow, where's Kurt Russell?
Well, I'm wondering what people are going to compare to of the original con, Ricardo Montalban.
Montalban,
whatever.
Mr. Fine Corinthian Leather.
Yeah, so no joke. But I'm curious as to what people are going to be saying about that comparison. I mean, do you guys remember the original con? When was the last time you guys saw it?
It's been roughly 20 years, but I remember. Here's the thing I really like about this movie.
The leather skin.
The thing I really like about this movie, it's not the same movie.
Good.
It doesn't do what most movies do today and reproduce exactly the same. This is Wrath of Khan cut up, spin around in his head, and modified. This is still Wrath of Khan, but
not Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, and that's what I like. That's the thing I like about it most. It's not a one-for-one reproduction.
It's not the 2013 version of Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
Yeah, you look at the original Star Trek as like a straight line, okay? And in the beginning you have the beginning of the series, and at the end you have, like Wrath of Khan and wherever it goes to from there. This basically just takes a big circle around the right and then ends up at the exact same place.
Well, this
there's math involved?
This one, Into Darkness, has actually almost a full point more than Wrath of Khan on IMDb already.
Well, I think that's going to happen because of how many people have seen, the original.
And how many people have rated it, and you think the point's going to probably even out sooner or later?
I think that's a myopic and an age issue. I think, for one, I don't think Wrath of Khan has aged terrifically well, to be honest, even though I still think it looks good, but because I'm old enough to actually see it in theaters.
Yeah.
I think that might be some of the issue.
Well, hold on. This one, actually, no. Look at this. Okay, 62,166 people have rated Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
67,778 have rated Into Darkness.
So maybe as time goes on, after a while,
there's 5,000 more people have rated Into Darkness than have rated Wrath of Khan. Do you think actually more people are going to turn around and watch Wrath of Khan now and see how it holds up? Or
okay, but here's the thing: is do you think that like the hardcore Star Trek fans are going to look at this as like a complete slight against their entire Star Trek life? Or
I do not.
It's just like this is another great movie that's come out of it,
I think that they're going to look at it as it's another great movie. And like I said in the beginning of this show, I think that more people have started to like this, but then they're like, wait, it's not the Leonard Nimoy Spock. And then they justified it by taking Abrams' little cookie crumb and being like, okay, well, this is a different timeline. It's okay for me to like it now. I think that's what's going on.
But I'll be honest, if you can use that as justification not to get your panties in a wad over a canon issue, I think that's a decent justification.
I think it is too.
It's a justification, and I think it's totally worth it to justify because it is an awesome effing movie.
And I think Abrams, total credit to him for leaving that in there and saying, okay, for those of you who might get your panties in a bunch over this, this is your way out. And I think that's fantastic of him to put that in there to cover his butt.
And you can tell he's not trying to piss off people.
Exactly.
You can tell he's trying to give people what they want and enough canon to satisfy the palate of the older generation, and then bring in this new generation of people that's like, oh man, these characters are kind of badass, and this is kind of cool, I mean, this probably is I know the first one got a lot of people to go back and watch the original series just because, oh wow, it's actually that cool, I tried and I just didn't do it.
You just didn't like the Go-Go Boots or whatever they were called. I think this thing.
Yeah,
I think the benefit of this, I'll be completely honest, is the fact that it plays service to the fans by not being a rehatch or a retelling.
Yeah.
It allows people to enjoy it without screwing up the story. I think this is the best way to do a remake of any movie, is by making it the same but different at the same time, while still playing to the people that matter the most, which is the fans.
Okay.
Because there's enough references in this movie, enough things pointing to other parts of the story that as a fan you can watch it and go, okay, that's leading up to here, that happens in this episode.
Absolutely.
And this is leading up here because it's happened to this episode. I think this is one of the best movies for fan people ever. I think even better than the Avengers, because the Avengers dumbed it down.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because how many people are into the comic book canon of all of the things? Very few people, as opposed to how many people are Star Trek fans.
Well, here's the other thing, is the fact that if you're
people versus people that read them versus people that watch things.
But if they're people bitching about how it's a different canon and a different that, I guarantee you, if they're Marvel or DC fans, they need to shut up. Marvel changes freaking canon every freaking week.
Well, this is the thing that people are running into with The Walking Dead too. I mean, there's people that have read the graphic novel, which I've read most of it, and it doesn't follow the same storyline. And there's people that are complaining, this character was tougher, this character didn't exist until this point, this happened to this character. They just turned it and did it something different with it.
They now you have two things. Now you have your graphic novel. Now you have your TV show, and you don't have to feel like you've spoiled everything by reading the graphic novel. You can. I mean, well, look, Robert Kirkman said it a bunch of times. And I get to go back and rewrite these characters, sort of like, oh, what if I would have done this in the beginning, or what if I would have done this at this point? It's still coming from the same guy. It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
People need to just kind of take it for what it is.
So, and I think that's what Abrams is doing here.
Oh, he's totally.
So he's taking the base of it, stripping all the excess off, and saying, "This is what I can do with these guys." What if this happened? What if Spock missed the Kolinar? What if he went into the Academy instead? What if Kirk made this decision over this? What would happen?
I think the most interesting thing is how in the beginning of the movie, Spock kind of narked on Kirk, and you get to see how he's still this semi kind of emotional character getting the grips of stuff, and he's still a Vulcan who's like, I've got to live up to this because this is what I do. This is the code. This is here. And I think that was cool. You still get to see the development of the relationship between between Kirk really hating Spock for what the repercussions of what happened, and at the end you can see there's the friendship.
You can see the frustration of Spock, or of Kirk looking at Spock like, damn it, like I thought we were friends, and like if we're friends you should be able to like put aside your Vulcan bullshit and help me out sometimes.
By the way, I love the jabs. Shut up, Pointy.
Yeah. All those things. I mean, everything that you really want. Like, damn it, man, I'm a doctor, not a rocket scientist. Or all those things are in there. Scotty and all of his things, and everything that you really remembered is like the what's the word I'm looking for? The key points, of the characters were all there.
I'll be honest. I still think the most underrated actor in the entire movie is Carl Urban.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Carl Urban fan, and I think this is basically shows how good of an actor is, because he did not stand out. This was like watching DeForest Kelley. I mean, he did an amazing job, and I love DeForest Kelley.
He's so funny in this movie, and just the look on his face, you know what I mean? Through half of the things, reacting to things. That is a funny dude.
Because
the people who wrote this, it was Robert Orci, Alex Kurtzman, and Damon Lindelof. Lindelof obviously coming with J.J. Abrams from Lost. It was the whole thing was written beautifully. I thought it was great.
But damn the lens flares.
Well, that's J.J. Abrams, that's just his style. He loves him.
So besides all the little issues you're saying that you thought it was more of like a sequel, you kind of saw sequel things, what would you give it as far as a rating based off of the acting, the directing, and as you said, there's some more things that you got to take into it, like Carl Urban kind of playing a really great role as a backup character type thing.
For me, this is one of these movies that I'm going to have to watch one more time, I think, to really give like how I really feel about it. But for me, right now, it's a solid 3 out of 5.
Really?
I think if I see it a couple of more times, I might enjoy it a little bit more. Kind of what,
So you kind of want to see what else you can pick up as things and kind of forgive the sequel crap.
Yeah, and kind of, chew the cud a little bit, just kind of rehash it, see what I think. I think this is one of these movies for me that I have to see again and again.
Ooh.
Ryan?
Yeah, I just mooed at him. He likes cud.
Shoot, I'd want to see it again just because I thought the movie was badass.
So what's your rating, though? I'm really curious.
My rating, based on like I said, the writing I thought was amazing. The directing was fantastic. I give J.J. Abrams every sci-fi movie as far as I'm concerned from now to the end of time. This is a solid 4 as far as I'm concerned. And again, I'll watch it again just because I really liked it. And the one particular fight scene that I won't spoil for James because I know he hasn't seen it. The only thing that I could think through the entire thing was, I can't wait to see this guy's Star Wars.
Oh,
true.
Cool. Okay.
True.
He has J.J. Abrams seems like he loves the mix between the practical effects and the special effects and the CGI versus the let's stand on a giant piece of a ship that we're only going to film that piece of so we can build it.
Okay.
He still does those kinds of things, and when it looks like you can reach into the screen and touch something. You go there, you know what I mean?
Did you go to the 3D version?
No, I agree with Ryan. I think one of the downfalls of today's movies, at least in the States, is everything is CGI, where I like CGI, but if you do a mix between that and practical effects, it makes a richer film. And I think one of the reasons why I like him, I like Peter Jackson, is they seem to be able to toe a line that is better than most modern filmmakers. Michael Bay.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Peter, who the hell was excited to see Peter Weller back on the screen?
Which one?
RoboCop, bitches.
Oh yeah. Dude, I was surprised to see him actually. I did not expect him to be in this movie.
I'm kind of sitting here like awesome. I didn't see the movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Peter Weller is in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
All right,
I was jazzed.
So as far as movie news, I'm gonna jump on this one first because I got 2 pieces. One is gonna be interesting, and the other one probably not so much.
So, is this just straight movie news, or?
Well, this one's kind of a mix of movie news and movie I want to see.
Okay.
Because that's what we're basically going to be doing for our movie news on today's episode. Ryan, I know you're excited to see the new movie, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., right?
Fucking A.
I still don't believe they're making this. I can't wait.
But the issue that they're having is, guess who basically left?
So happy about this.
Ryan?
Who?
Cruise took off to go do MI5.
No way.
Yeah. So basically what they're doing right now is they're kind of holding off on the filming. They're going to postpone it a little bit to see who they can pick up to either replace Tom Cruise or wait for him to finish filming MI5. Now, the rumor that they're putting out there for the reason why Tom Cruise took off to do MI5 is because he wants to, since Oblivion, which we did a little while ago, hint, people go watch, I guess, did not do as well as he hoped. Neither did Jack Reacher. So he's kind of trying to pick up on a sure thing. Really, dude? Sure thing? MI5?
I haven't even seen the 4th one, so.
I did. It was pretty good.
The 4th one wasn't that bad. I will kind of join in Ryan's thing here and say the 4th one wasn't that bad. I'm still not a big Cruise fan of the
3rd one
MIs.
effing ruled.
Really?
Oh yeah, I love that
really?
one.
You think the 3rd?
Philip
I think
Seymour
the
Hoffman
4th
is a
one was
bad
better.
guy. That movie fucking awesome.
I think the 4th one was better than that one. Anyway,
fascinating.
So he's taken off to do MI5. They're probably going to be slowing it down to see if they can pick him up after he finishes MI5. But right now it's kind of on hold, which sucks because I actually want to see. I want to see this movie. I've been excited for this movie.
I don't think Tom Cruise, I'll be honest, this is my personal feeling. I think if Tom Cruise does it, it's going to end up being like an MI5 ripoff. I think they need to find an actor. I don't know who.
But it's Guy Ritchie. I mean, I am a Ritchie fan.
No, I agree, but I just don't like Tom Cruise in this role. I have a feeling if they did it, it's going to be Mission Impossible 6. That's what I'm worried about. I think if you disassociate that guy get somebody completely different.
All right, I can see that. You're
Yeah,
thinking
I
that
think
Tom
you're right.
Cruise
I
is
think
going to
you're
be
right on
kind of
that.
typecasted in this thing, and he's going to be playing the same role.
Because his action roles are the same character over and over.
You know, you're
over
kind of right.
again.
You're right there. So who would you replace Cruise with?
See, that's the issue.
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
He could do it.
Carl Urban, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Pitt?
I'll be completely honest. I think somebody foreign, a non-American actor, I think would play the role better.
Well,
Yeah, and somebody who's not 55 years old.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of foreign actors out there that could actually pull this role off, as far as I'm concerned.
And a lot of foreign actors that are getting a lot of notoriety in the States because of things like Star Trek and Sherlock and some of the BBC stuff that's come over, over the pond.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, you're right, because Guy Ritchie he's done a lot of foreign flicks that have become cult classics over here.
Well, to the point where they're not cult anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, you see a Guy Ritchie movie, everybody wants to go see it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would be excited to see him pick up a no-name actor from over on the pond.
Or even if it's like a BBC actor or a TV actor, somebody, I don't know, for some reason I just think this doesn't fit the typical Cruise.
Well, that's kind of where I was at when I first saw this movie.
It's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, Tom Cruise isn't funny.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think he could. I mean, he can be, but not in that sort of like duality type of role where he's
No.
the
Tell me a
cool
funny
agent
movie
and
that he
also
did.
the witty fucking guy.
You mean funny on purpose or funny on accident? Most of his movies are funny by accident.
Well, I know I was gonna kind
Right.
of make a goose joke, but
Yeah, Cocktail is hilarious.
Really? A goose joke?
yeah, come on, why not?
Oh,
No, you're right. Like, he really has
wow.
no funny movie out there, no funny role. I mean, what can you think of one, Brian?
Well, he's got funny moments. I mean, Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, but was that because of him or somebody else? That's
I was letting
that
that
was because
just
of
go.
the prosthetics and him yelling into a phone might have been the funniest thing I've
Yeah,
ever
but
seen.
still, I mean, his role was not that funny.
well, I have
Honestly.
a movie that
I got one more.
Okay.
So, I stumbled across this one. Just kind of looking through, and I was trying to figure out what the heck, if this is supposed to be a funny thing or if this is going to be a straight DVD release or what. But Vampire Academy,
I've heard of it, and I don't know why.
Blood Sisters.
Is it a trauma?
I don't know.
Please be a trauma.
This is the plot outline. Hold on. This is kind of making me think, like, what's going on here? Rose Hathaway is a Dampier. Thank you. Dampier.
It's a stoner movie.
Half-human vampire guardians of the Morai. Peaceful mortal vampires. How does that even work?
It's a stoner.
Living discreetly within our world. Her legacy is to protect the Morai from bloodthirsty immortal vampires. The Strogoi. This is her story.
Wait, there's non-immortal and
Immortal vampires.
Dampiers are supposed to be immortal. I'm confused here.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think
They're
of.
ruining the story here, damn it.
So I'm really confused. And the guy who's directing this, which is really even worse, has done the chick flick movies.
Oh no, this
Like
is going to be
Mean
dumb.
Girls, Freaky Friday, Just Like Heaven, The Spiderwick Chronicles.
Okay, you can stop now. This is getting depressing.
So this is the crap that they're pumping out.
Is there a Wayans
Now,
relative in that movie?
what I'm thinking is this the crap that's coming from Twilight now. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the chick who wrote Twilight. I can't think of her name right now.
You mean a
But
Genesis?
she put out The Host, which basically was in theaters for a day, and now you can find it at Redbox.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
So, and then you come across something like this that they're putting out. I mean, is this supposed to be Stephanie Meyer? Is this supposed to be like the spin-off of the after effects of this? Now they're doing chick flick vampire movies that are supposed to be stupid and funny.
I think vampires are just always really been in. I think the Twilight really gave permission to make more bad vampire movies. I mean, they've remade Dracula 20 times.
That's the thing is you start saturating the market with these kinds of things, and you're going to end up with stuff like Tyler Perry presents Medea, meets Dracula.
No, can we wait? Can we make a roll and never mention that name ever again? Strike him.
That's what I was using it as a point to say how bad it's gotten.
Well, I mean, Dusk Till Dawn is a great analogy for this one. I mean, they had the first one, which was pretty good for Dusk Till Dawn for what it was.
Oh yeah,
for what it was.
Two completely different movies. For the original Dusk Till Dawn, you have the first half and you have the second half.
Pretty much, yeah. You're right. You're exactly right there. But then you have the spin-offs. Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money, where it was the trucker stop thing. Do you remember that one? Did you actually watch that one, Ryan?
Yeah, I did. And
did you have to?
There's sequel blues right there for you. Like, hey, the first one kind of became huge. Let's do this again.
But then it was even worse. And then they did Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter.
Yeah.
So I mean, these all came out like one right after the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you had the first one, which was actually decent. But when I'm saying decent, I'm talking decent in comparison to the two ones that followed them. It's like Tremors.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you guys really need permission to make bad movies constantly? I mean, come on, look at White Chicks. There was no cause for that.
And you know what's really
not at all.
You know what's really depressing to me? Every single movie that you've ever seen, it barely got made. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's so many things that can go wrong in the production or the pre-production of a movie.
Exactly.
Out of 1,000 people that are involved in it, one or two people has to do something wrong, and the whole thing never gets made.
Exactly.
So for shit like
best
this,
boy, you best be good.
So for stuff like this to actually get made, and for other things, other projects that over the years we've been excited to hear that just never came out.
Yeah, like the Halo movies.
People, I've said this a million times, but everybody stop watching shitty movies and they will stop making them.
No, they won't.
Well, no, it really does go into econ of supply and demand.
Movie that's made on accident that sucks, but nobody's going to do it on purpose anymore.
Well, trauma.
You can forget about the Medeas of the world, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So here's a movie that I've been interested in for a while, and you got to excuse me because who's in it, but I legitimately want to see it because it looks interesting. It's 47 Ronin.
Oh, yes.
I
do want to see it.
It's with Keanu Reeves.
I know. But, Keanu Reeves does have some redeeming stuff that he's done.
I was going to say, I had that kind of gut reaction right now but then I started to think, like, wait a second, he has kind of redeemed himself in a couple of things.
I mean, the first Matrix was good.
Yes, it wasn't his fault the second and the third one sucked.
Yeah, thank you, sister.
Well, here's the thing: is that wow, there's a reference people might not get. So
exactly.
here's my theory on actors. I think every actor has at least one type of movie he's good at, one type of genre, and I actually think he would do really good on this movie, especially considering I think he is half Japanese. So I do kind of think for some reason that this might be a role he's into. And the synopsis of this from Wikipedia, the bastion of all knowledge, is the outcast Kai Reeves joins a group of samurai led by another name I'm never going to be able to pronounce, seeks vengeance on Lord Kira, who killed their master and banished the group. The samurai embark on a journey whose challenges would defeat most warriors. It sounds, I don't know, for some reason it sounds good. It sounds like there's going to be kind of a little Seven Samurai action for some reason.
I was going to say, dude, look, anytime somebody has a story set where, like, a band of whoever the hell decides to go and avenge the death of their master or their leader, I'm in.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Ryan there. I'm a big fan of things like that. I enjoyed a lot of those types of stories. Mm-hmm. I pretty much... any type of anime that comes out that's like that, I usually give it a chance. Like Samurai Champloo, love that thing. But I'm looking over. I'm looking over Keanu Reeves' career right now just to see what he's got that's come out recently that's good. And the last thing that I'm seeing that he did that was good was 2006.
What was that?
Scanner Darkly.
I was gonna say Scanner Darkly was good.
So I mean, after that, but if I look at his. If I look at his career,
he was good in that.
Hold on. Let me just go right off this.
Sorry.
He's got. If I look at his career, the movies that I actually enjoyed him in, other than kind of like the comedy or drama things like The Replacements or Hardball, was like The Matrix. I like that, the first one. 1999. The Devil's Advocate, he did a decent job, although there was a couple things where I'm kind of like, Bill?
I think that was,
anyway,
I think that was more of the movie than him.
And then he's got Johnny Mnemonic, Speed.
Yeah, Johnny Mnemonic.
These are movies that are action movies where he did a lot of physical things where he was jumping, running, fighting type things, and I enjoyed his role.
I think the challenge for this one is
to do 47 Ronin, I think he can do it. The problem I'm going to have is the fact that he is older now. So I want to know how he's going to pull some of that stuff off as well. So I'm kind of expecting that there's going to be some CG stuff in here.
I think
the challenge... Dude, I mean, look, in a world where a 55-year-old Tom Cruise is still hanging off the side of the tallest building in the world, you know, I think it's possible he could just be out there jumping around.
Yeah,
I think the challenge for him, to be honest, is more of the drama aspects. And he can
absolutely.
We know he can do comedy. We know he can do action.
No, if you look
I think the drama is the part that he might have the issues with.
I don't think so. I think he's developed enough to where he can do that. And I know you haven't seen it, but I know Ryan's going to agree with me on this one. Is the way that he did Scanner Darkly, he can do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
So there's no question for me.
He's matured enough as an actor to be able to pull off the drama as well as hanging from wires and swinging around.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of curious is, because like I said, I mean, I didn't see any Bill in Scanner Darkly. Back in Hardball and some of those other ones back in like 2000, late 90s.
You saw Bill.
Yeah, I still saw that.
And before we end the show...
Well, we got to give Brian a chance.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's one more, and just kind of the my favorite mention, the new Guillermo del Toro movie coming out I want to see, Pacific Rim.
Oh, Pacific Rim. Oh, I can't effing wait.
So, what's your... we're 7 minutes over, Ryan, but what movie is coming up that you want to see?
Well, I mentioned it a little earlier, but basically, I'm waiting until 2015, dude, before I'm looking forward to anything. Star Wars, dude.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up real quick. I know we probably don't have time for it, but this After Earth thing.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of curious about this one.
I'm kind of curious if Will Smith could make a Shamalama Ding Dong movie any decent. Or if Shamalama Ding Dong has actually learned from his mistakes enough to say, hey, let's not twist the shit out of this movie.
No, he hasn't.
I'll be honest, this seems more like a vehicle to get his kids into stardom than it seems like a Shamalama Ding Dong movie.
That might have been what it was, too.
No, because I thought that was Karate Kid.
No, well, this is I think this is another
Kung Fu Kid.
I think
yeah, good point. Good point.
I think this is another one of those things, another vehicle. And I do think that Will Smith has enough stroke to say this is going to be this way. I don't think Shamalama Ding Dong has the stroke to enforce certain things. So I think Will Smith is really involved in this.
I think I will give you that. I gotta go with John on this one because I mean Shamalama Ding Dong is so stupid. He's not learned from his mistakes. You can look at all of his movies and see how he has not learned from his mistakes. And I think the only way that this one is going to make it is because Will Smith's name's on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Will Smith knows what the heck he's doing, and he's not going to put up with any crap from Shyamalan.
And his kids in there. And I think the fact his kids in there, I think that is the most important factor. The fact that he wants his kid to be an actor, it seems like.
Right.
And he's not going to let his son's career go down in flames because of crap director.
Yeah,
right.
I can't stand M. Night Shyamalan.
No.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Ding Dong.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we don't say his actual name here.
Yeah. That's the one that shall not be named.
Exactly.
Just call him Voldemort.
He who shall not be named.
So, ladies and gentlemen, next month's theme is going to be guilty pleasure. And what a guilty pleasure movie is a movie you know is awful, but you still enjoy it. So next week's pick's going to be Beastmaster with Mark Singer and Rip Torn.
Son of a bitch.
It's not a good movie, but it's one I always find entertaining for multiple reasons.
Oh, you just wait till I reveal what mine's going to be. None of these guys know what it is.
It's going to be a trauma movie.
Nope, it's not.
Oh, thank God.
But you're not going to be happy.
Well, we'll see. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave Star Trek Into Darkness a 3. Ryan gave it a 4, and James gave it a I must see. So, we'll see you next week.